on your side.
February 27, 1995.
It's overdue, over budget, and under investigation.
Every set of numbers, every claim made about this airport, how wonderful it's going to be, what the costs are or whatnot, has proven to be a lie.
Billed as state-of-the-art, this problem-plagued airport may make it cost more for you to fly.
It's basically going to be the most expensive airport to operate at in the United States.
This is a very good investment for Colorado. It is a very good investment for the country.
Tonight, the storm over Denver International Airport on the eve of opening.
This is ABC News Nightline. Substituting for Ted Koppel and reporting from Washington, Cokie Roberts.
A thick fog hangs over Denver tonight, serving as a fitting metaphor while the city gears up finally to open the new high-tech, high-trouble Denver International Airport. Almost everything that could go wrong with the construction of this multi-billion-dollar facility has, and today, just as the fanfare is about to begin, the people who hold the paper, the bondholders, went to court accusing the city of withholding information about the airport's problems from the investors. When it was conceived, Denver's business and political communities saw the new airport as the way to get the city growing, to give it first-class status. Instead, even before one scheduled flight is taken off, Denver International has become a running joke with TV comedians and a ready target for state and federal investigators. Most of the criticism, which has been at best harsh, has been aimed at Transportation Secretary Federico Pena. He's agreed to join us from Denver Airport to explain how we got to where we are tonight. But first, some background from ABC's Tom Foreman.
At Denver's new airport tonight, workers are scrambling to install thousands of pieces of equipment taken from the old Stapleton Airport. And they are rolling their eyes over the latest public relations fiasco. This afternoon, 3 jets were to land simultaneously, demonstrating how high-tech radar here would eliminate weather delays. But heavy fog and snow canceled the landings. Officials said not enough staff had been scheduled here to use the high-tech gear.
Right now, we are not doing that because we're staffing Stapleton. So at midnight, we'll be ready. Tomorrow, you'll see trips. And that's the triple simultaneous.
From its inception in the mid-'80s, this airport has been plagued by serious problems. The cost soared 2.5 times over projections. The opening was delayed 16 months by a $200 million faulty baggage system. And now there are a dozen investigations underway into everything from minority contracting to safety to allegations of shoddy construction. And no one campaigned harder for this airport than Federico Pena, Secretary of Transportation now, Mayor of Denver then.
We need a new airport. And no one is ever going to convince me that we don't need a new airport. And that is a very basic premise that we start with. So if someone wants to come in and negotiate with me about the airport, they have to understand that's where I start, and I don't back off.
That resolve, critics say, led Pena down a road of miscalculation and deception and set the stage for what they consider a colossal breach of public trust.
Every set of numbers, every claim made about this airport, how wonderful it's going to be, what the costs are or whatnot, has proven to be a lie.
Michael Boyd, an independent aviation analyst, points out that in 1985, when the new airport was just an idea, 30 million passengers were using Denver's Stapleton Airport every year. Pena, using forecasts by the Federal Aviation Administration, said by 95, more than 50 million passengers would be passing through. A new airport was essential. Critics told him that was fantasy, and they were right. Last year, 34 million passengers used Denver's airport, about the same as 10 years ago.
They wanted to doctor the numbers to show we needed an airport, and that's exactly what they did. They knew full well what they were doing. They were building something that was a public works project to enrich certain people, maybe to make certain people look good, but they never bothered to ask, what is the consumer going to end up paying for this thing?
What about the cost? When the project began, Pena promised voters that the airport would cost $1.7 billion. Again, analysts told him he was wrong. It would easily cost twice as much. Today, he blames the airlines for the $5 billion price tag, even though the airlines told him long ago they did not want or need the new airport.
As this project moved along, the airlines came in and made adjustments. They wanted improvements. They wanted expansions, and the project was changed as it went along.
I think that's a little disingenuous, frankly.
Edward Starkman, a transportation analyst, suggests the city made a mistake by moving on the project without the airline support.
Airlines are the occupants of the airport. They're the ones that have to operate there. They know what they need. And in fact, if the airlines, for instance, perhaps were more intimate in the planning stages, the cost may have looked higher right from the get-go, which obviously might not be too attractive.
Even safety concerns were raised. As far back as 1956, meteorologists have known that the specific site of the new airport is unusually turbulent, subject to more wind shear than the old airport, more wind shear than anywhere else in the country except Florida. Wind shear has caused some of the most devastating air crashes in history. The FAA's own guidelines say pilots should do all they can to avoid it. But the man who oversees the FAA now is not worried.
This new site has all the technology necessary, particularly in the area of wind shear, to be able to deal with any kind of weather problem.
In defense of his project, Pena says this is the most technologically advanced, efficient airport in the world, capable of growing into the next century and significantly reducing delays for air travelers. In the long run, he says, it will be a very good investment.
Once the airport opens and people begin to experience the efficiency of that airport and then start complaining about the other hubs in the country, the same complaints that used to be made about the old Stapleton, I think you'll see things turn around and more people will begin to want to use that airport.
It's not going to stop the snow in Denver. It's not going to stop the other weather-related problems that they have. But when snowstorms do come, it's going to be a more efficient operation.
But despite Secretary Pena's promise that taxpayers would not suffer, the public will pay dearly for this airport. The major airlines will charge every arriving and departing passenger up to $40 more to offset the cost of operating here. Paul Dempsey, a noted author on the airline industry, says that could have been avoided.
This is not any way to build an airport. I mean, this is the strongest argument I have ever seen for creating an independent airport commission to do things. When politicians get involved, they want to make sure that their friends and their cronies get a piece of the action, and that happened here in a big way.
The bottom line for a lot of critics now on the eve of the opening is, can this place pay for itself? If everything goes as planned, it should be able to meet all of its debts. But if it does not, and bondholders do not get a return on their investment, they can legally sue the city. And that would mean money out of taxpayers' pockets. Koki?
Well, Tom, of course, if that happens, everybody will be looking for who to blame. And the candidate that everyone seems to be pointing at the moment is the Secretary of Transportation. How responsible is he for this, and how much is it just people looking for a scapegoat?
As far as the strongest critics are concerned, they say there is no way that he could not have known that this was a likelihood. Not that it would necessarily turn out this way in terms of the financing, the timetable, the scaling back of the project, but they say there was no way he could not have known, and known early enough to mothball or delay the project before it got this far down the line. They say if he did not know, he was so naive that he had no business launching a mega project like this in the first place.
And you're having a mayor's race there now. Is there anybody who's got the high road on this?
On this project, there are a lot of people who are shifting positions very quickly. They've watched it over the years. A lot of people cheered for it, and now they're backing off and beginning to say, well, maybe if we'd known it was going to turn out this way, we wouldn't have backed it so strongly. Most people are short of damning it entirely, but they are certainly backing away from it.
Thanks very much, Tom Foreman. When we come back, we'll be joined by the man responsible for propelling the Denver Airport project forward, Transportation Secretary Federico Pena.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer.
I will build a motor car for the great multitude, constructed of the best materials by the best men and women to be hired, Any person making a good salary will be able to own one and enjoy, with his family, the blessings of hours of pleasure in God's great open spaces.
So, Ellen emails Peter that Cove of Aphrodite Part 2 is ready. Peter says Part 1 sold 810 copies. He'll have to think about it. Then Reggie emails Peter that Nicole St. Germain's agent will be in Friday. Peter immediately writes back that he doesn't feel he needs to come in Fridays anymore. Then Curtis, the Kurt man Bruno, emails me an offering of a personal nature. I love that delete key.
How can you put a price on a life? There's a bill in Congress that could do just that. Watch and you'll understand on ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
We saved a lot of lives here, and even brought a few into the world. But after 40 years, it's time to close this ER.
Introducing the new Emergency Pavilion at Baptist Hospital. More privacy, more comfort, and more life-saving technology when you need it most.
Hey, Carmen, what have we got here?
This gentleman is complaining of some chest pain.
The Emergency Pavilion at Baptist Hospital. So much for so many.
Hi, Gary Willingham here at Toyota Gallatin, where volume selling means more. And here's Tom with proof positive.
Gary, here's how we're selling used trucks. This 94 Chevy Blazer 4x4 with the LT Tahoe package, only $17,949. Or an 88 Ford F-150 XLT Lariat, only $69,49. And only examples, folks, with a great selection. Call 230-9000. We're only minutes from Rivergate Mall on the Nashville Pike, across from Ball State College.
Toyota of Gallatin.
Call us now.
Joining us from the new Denver International Airport, former Denver Mayor and current U.S. Transportation Secretary Federico Pena. Mr. Secretary, quite a lot of criticism that you've just heard there, and of course it's not the first time you've heard it. It has been a long haul for you, and it seems to just keep getting longer with this criticism. Is there something you want to say particularly to what Tom Foreman just said?
Well, Koki, let me say the report that I just heard is a very different airport that I worked on for 8 years, and I'm very distressed that Mr. Foreman has presented what I think to be a very imbalanced report and certainly a distortion of the facts. And let me just give you 2 or 3. I don't have the time tonight to go through all of them, but first of all, Mr. Foreman said this is the most expensive airport in the country. It is not. If you look at the cost of this airport in terms of per passenger numbers, it's about $12. It's not the most expensive airport in the world. Allegations of shoddy construction, all that's been investigated, and that has not been the case. And so many other things that he said, that the airlines were not involved. The airlines helped me actually lay out the runways over so many years, and we're very much involved in their design and construction. The important point I want to make tonight is this. The airport that we just closed tonight is the 6th busiest airport in the United States. It is the 8th busiest airport in the country. Today, we have 23 airports in the United States that are delayed, which means they have 22,000 hours of delays per year. And in 10 years, we're going to have over 30 airports that are delayed. The only city that has done something about these delays is Denver. And so this new airport, Denver International Airport, will not be one of those major hubs in our country which will suffer delays in the future. And secondly, because of the efficiencies and the reductions of cost to both airlines and passengers, people who will be flying through Denver International Airport will not suffer the kinds of delays and expenses they once did when they had to spend the night at Stapleton International Airport. Let me just tell you, this airport is absolutely critical to our nation's aviation system. It will reduce national delays by 5% system-wide from East Coast to West Coast. And frankly, we need more cities in our country to step to the plate to resolve their delay and congestion problems also.
Well, I must say, in the course of the day, as I've looked at other news reports, I've seen only basically criticism, and I'm reading through the clips over the last few months in the newspapers. It's been the same sort of thing, and they've focused on such things as passenger projections, saying that at the time that the airport was conceived, that you expected to have many more passengers than you in fact now have coming into Denver and that the projections are now for. Were those things that were just, normal mistakes, or was that wishful thinking?
Neither. The passenger projections were made by the FAA years ago in the early 80s, and they took the data that they had back then, which was that we had 3 major airlines operating out of Stapleton Airport: Frontier Airlines, Continental, and United. And they assumed that those airlines would still be at the airport and made their calculations. I don't think anybody would have predicted that Continental Airlines would have decided, because it couldn't compete against United, to leave a low-cost airport, Stapleton Airport, and move to the East Coast. But when I was mayor, we didn't use the FAA projections. We used more moderate projections. And the fact is, this is still the 6th busiest airport in the United States. And we still project, and the FAA still projects, passenger numbers to increase here in this new airport and across the country. And so the need is still here. The old airport still does not work because the runways are too close together. We still have delays, and the only way to fix those delays is to build an airport where the runways are far enough apart that you can land 3 aircraft at the same time, even during the middle of a blizzard. So those are the facts, and we are very confident about those facts. And I believe that when this airport opens tomorrow, and you see the millions of people from throughout the world who will fly through here, they will understand why this airport will be built. And I will be very concerned about the other hubs in our country which are going to continue to experience delays and congestion, just as Stapleton did years ago.
The folks from Continental say that it was not just their competition from United, but the projected cost that they would bear at the new airport that drove them away from Denver. Are they just trying to provide a smokescreen there?
Well, I think so. The fact is that operating costs at an airport are less than 5% of the total operation cost of any airline. Continental had been operating out of Stapleton Airport at $6 a passenger for the price. This is one of the cheapest airports in the country. And for the last 3 or 4 years, they have not been able to compete against United Airlines because United Airlines is, frankly, much stronger. This is precisely what has happened in Chicago, in Atlanta, where now Delta has about 80% of the traffic, in Dallas-Fort Worth, where American Airlines has the bulk of the traffic, in other major hubs around the country, where one airline ultimately becomes the dominant airline. And that is what finally has happened here at Stapleton Airport, the cheap airport, not the expensive airport. So Continental decided some time ago to leave Stapleton Airport, the low-cost airport, to go to the East Coast to compete against U.S. Air, because U.S. Air was experiencing some financial troubles, and unfortunately Continental's strategy has not worked out very well for it in the East Coast. But those are the facts, and it's not the cost of DIA which drove Continental to leave the Denver market and to leave a very low-cost, very inefficient airport.
Mr. Secretary, then there's the question of all of the numerous investigations, including some by your own department, and I want to talk about those when we come back in just a moment.
Rauchen verboten.
不要抽烟。
Apagorevete, toccarles mal.
タバコを吸わないでください。
Vietato fumare.
Cigarette sul naso.
Défense de fumer.
In answer to our passengers' requests, Delta Airlines has become the first and only U.S. airline to fly totally smoke-free worldwide.
When you can trust something and know it'll come through for you, that's everything. One of the things we focused on with the new DeVille Concorde was making it reliable. We designed the North Star system so that if it ever lost all of its engine coolant, you'd still be able to drive a DeVille Concorde up to 50 miles to safety, even in desert heat. You may never need it, but it'll be there for you. There's a car company that cares enough to give you this kind of dependability. That's my company, Cadillac.
Next time, how to know if you can really trust your doctor.
Plus, Republican presidential candidate Lamar Alexander and dog sledding to the top of the world.
Good Morning America here on ABC.
Hallmark! Hallmark in Vanderbilt, a winning tradition. Thank you, Hallmark. Let's go!
At Hallmark, we're proud to put Jeep to work in our community. It's that winning spirit you'll find in everything that we do at Hallmark. Come see and experience the difference at Nashville's only current 5-star dealer, where we promise that we'll meet or beat any advertised price from anywhere, lease or purchase. Price, selection, quality, and a winning spirit. That's Hallmark Jeep Eagle.
Hallmark Jeep is Major League.
It's tough finding glasses that fit perfectly. So LensCrafters invented a new measuring system called AccuFit that measures the size of your face.
L10, I'll remember that.
Once you've been measured, finding the right glasses is simple.
I like these.
The size is clearly marked on the frame, so you'll know which one is right for you.
Here?
Only LensCrafters has AccuFit. We're able to get the correct size the first time and satisfy the customer with the best quality glasses.
It's a nice fit.
That's what we do here.
LensCrafters, helping people see better, 1 hour at a time.
We're Just for Feet, the world's largest athletic shoe store. And this week, we've got the world's greatest prices on cleats. We're overstocked in every area. Baseball, soccer, football, and golf. Mitre men's baseball cleats now just $9.99. Reebok leather golf shoes now just $39.99. Nike leather soccer cleats now just $19.99. And Reebok leather and mesh football cleats from just $19.99. Plus, you can get this leather soccer ball for just $5 this week at Just for Feet, where your 13th pair is free.
And we're back once again with Transportation Secretary Federica Pena. Mr. Secretary, I gather one of your mayoral candidates there, who was a supporter of the airport at the beginning, is now saying, I wanted to get more jobs. I didn't mean them to be jobs for federal investigators. Now, we all know that politicians in the middle of a campaign will claim credit or move as far away from something as they can, depending on how popular it is at the moment. But you do have a lot of investigations going on. There must be some problem here.
Well, there's no question, Koki, that lots of issues have been raised. And anytime you build a very large project like this, you're going to have those issues raised. As you said, my own Department of Transportation has one of those investigations, and it has to do with an allegation that some airport revenues were diverted for non-airport purposes. And the point I want to make is that these are all allegations that are being investigated by different parties, and we'll simply have to wait and see what the final results are. But let me talk about one. One of those investigations is about the allegation that somehow the city held back information and misled potential bondholders. Let me just be very clear about this. We have provided, when I was mayor and since I left office, extraordinary amounts of information to prospective bondholders. This project was under microscopic review by the local media and others, and every bit of information was provided to those bondholders. So the SEC is investigating that, and we'll simply wait for that investigation to be cleared up.
Those bondholders, of course, filed a class action suit in court today, and they say it's based on information that they've gotten from the SEC investigation.
Well, that would surprise me, because the SEC has said that their investigation is not anywhere near complete. And of course, since it's still under investigation, I can't imagine how any information would be released to anybody else. But let me say this. Of the bonds that have been due and payable, bondholders have been paid back with their interest, and they will be paid back in the future. This airport is financially sound. There has been no default of any bonds. And of course, anybody can file a lawsuit anytime they want.
The one I suppose that most people who are flyers would like to hear about is the safety investigation having to do with the runways. Is that ongoing as well?
No. Essentially, I was talking to one of the airport officials today who took out a reporter some time ago out into the runways to show these pencil cracks in the runway, and people just said it was a ridiculous allegation. The airport here has the highest level of safety of any airport in the world. The FAA has put in place the most sophisticated technology, wind shear technology, Doppler radar, special runway lights that no other airport in the world has, and this will be the safest, technologically most proficient airport ever built in this globe, and we're very proud of it. So we're very excited about the opening of the airport tomorrow. I continue to suggest that this airport will be probably the crown jewel of our national transportation system, and as millions of Americans fly through this airport starting tomorrow, I think they'll appreciate why the people of Denver made this investment and why this sixth busiest airport in the United States continues to play a very critical role to both the safety and efficiency of our airport system.
Let me ask you one other question as a flyer. I gather it's quite beautiful there, but that there are also quite long distances, and that one of your local reporters timed it going from the car to a gate, and it took a half an hour. I would hate to be carrying my luggage out of the thing, onto the train, to the gate, all of that. I mean, is efficiency work on the ground as well as in the air?
Well, the efficiency is everywhere, Koki, and what people refer to is the fact that in order to eliminate the noise that 35,000 people in the metro area now experience because of the old airport, we decided to move the airport further away from the city. And so it is a longer drive out to this airport. But I can remember, Koki, and you know this very well, the arguments made about Dulles when it was built outside of Washington, D.C., and people said no one would ever use it and there would be no development out there. And now you've seen what has happened to Dulles. The same thing was said of Dallas-Fort Worth when it was built outside of Dallas, and those airports have been quite successful.
Well, we're just about out of time here, but when do you think the comedians will have to eat their jokes? When do you get the last laugh?
Well, I think it's going to take some time before people use this airport, realize the efficiencies and the savings that will be passed on both to the airlines and to consumers, because you won't be sleeping curled up like a pretzel on a bench at Stapleton Airport like so many people have done all over our country who have tried to fly through Stapleton. And over time, I think that as people continue to experience a very severe congestion at other major hubs in our country and begin to complain about those airports, just as they complain about old Stapleton, they'll come to appreciate the wisdom of this investment.
Thank you very much, Transportation Secretary Federico Pena. I'll be back in a moment.
Trying to figure out what to do with your retirement money? Well, with thousands of mutual funds to choose from, even experienced investors can be a bit overwhelmed. But the new Schwab no annual fee IRA can help, because now you can get Schwab's new Fund Map for Windows free and choose from a select list of mutual funds with proven performance. So, to make selecting mutual funds easy,
maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
As sure as the sun will rise across America, the families that travel will have one common need: to be safe. So it's no surprise that America's favorite full-size car has also been honored for safety. That's according to Prevention Magazine, which gave LeSabre the Safe Car Achievement Award in the full-size category. Buick LeSabre, the American family car.
No matter what they say.
Mr. Thompson, heard about the big savings I can get you over AT&T?
No matter how they say it.
Not to worry. Today I've got a better plan for your business with even bigger savings.
No matter what numbers they throw at you.
20%. 30%. 10.5%.
Only one company guarantees competitive prices. AT&T. Call 1-800-COMPARE and get the facts.
Listen, I've got the facts.
AT&T guaranteed competitive prices.
I'm sticking with AT&T.
AT&T, for the life of your business.
The mystery is, why are Hayes Mitsubishi's prices lower than ever?
Hayes Mitsubishi does it right. It's our customer appreciation sale. So hurry. You can own it for less than we paid for it. Like this 95 Eclipse double rebated down to only $12,988. Or this Eclipse for just $198 per month.
I'll take it.
You're a customer, Inspector. You couldn't be more appreciated. Now, how would you like to pay for it?
I don't have a clue.
Boy, I really did it last night. Got drunk, acted stupid, went home with... Who is that? What, am I stupid? How did I do this? Barry began to worry, really worry. What about AIDS? Then he remembered, hey, I'm just a cartoon. I don't even have to shower. Get high, get stupid, get AIDS.
Tomorrow on World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, how can you put a price on a life? A bill in Congress would do just that. That story on World News tomorrow on this ABC station. That's our report for tonight. I'm Koki Roberts in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
For more information about Nightline on America Online, call 1-800-772-4222. For videocassette inquiries, call 1-800-ABC-7500.
Nightline is a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
It's America's favorite night.
Tuesday, Tim gets a good look at his brother's wife.
We told him what we saw. We'd be a couple of boobs.
An all-new home improvement. Then Grace's grown-up son joins the family.
Does two. Does not.
Does two. Is there room for one more?
Hey.
An all-new Grace Under Fire after Home Improvement Tuesday on ABC.
Did you know that this had saccharin in it? I didn't know. I used to use this stuff, and I didn't know.
A lot of people don't know, but there is a saccharin notice on the pink stuff.
And then I found this other product, the Equal, and it didn't have saccharin in it. Equal tastes like natural sugar. You know, just stick your finger in it and then go like that. It really tastes good. Boy, you know, life has been so much sweeter since. So why choose anything else? I choose Equal.
The Food Lion brand sale continues this week with Food Lion Fruit Cocktail, regular and light. Peaches and pear halves, 3 cans for only $2. 20-ounce Food Lion Raisin Bran, 2 for $3. And shave your budget with Food Lion Razor Blades, 2 for only $3. These varieties of Food Lion mouthwash are 2 for $4. And start your day with Food Lion Flake Coffee, only $1.99. And Food Lion Creamer, just 99 cents. Get name brand quality at extra low prices this week during the big Food Lion brand sale at your Food Lion store.
John Siegenthaler and News 2 on your side.
Urkel, will you hold still? I've got to finish this for my art class.